I'm back! My voice is a bit croaky today, I'm not sure why. Croak, croak, croak. I sound like a frog. Welcome back to my channel, everybody. It is so good to have you back once again. I hope everyone is doing super duper well. I hope you guys have been thriving, been listening to some new music, going through some playlists and checking out some old favorites. I definitely have been. It's been such a busy few weeks for me. I have had to take up a little bit more work, so I haven't really been around to film a lot of YouTube, so I am so sorry for that. But in the meantime, I am just super duper excited that we are back with this Duran Duran deep dive series, and we are now diving into an album that was released in 1997, so we're on the other side of the 90s now, and I think we're moving into a different kind of realm in terms of sound, in terms of genre, very heavy in electronic elements. So once again, it's going to be so cool to check this one out. I hope you guys are ready to jump on this ride with me. It's going to be so much fun. So 1997 brings us to a little bit of a turn in Duran Duran's career. As far as I know, they did end up severing ties with the record label EMI, and they ended up releasing this album independently until they signed with Hollywood Records in the early 2000s. As far as band members go as well, we have lost a very incredible, very significant band member. We have lost John Taylor, which is very sad to hear, but as far as I know, John was going through a lot of personal struggles, but also relationships between the band members were quite strained at this point in time. So John respectfully parted ways to work on his own music and on some side projects, but we do have Simon Le Bon lead vocals, we do have Nick Rhodes on the keyboards, and then we also have Warren Cucurulo. As far as other personnel goes in terms of drums and programming production, I will put those down in the facts as I always do in my videos. So guys, I didn't go overboard in dressing up for this video. I do have this kind of themed outfit going on here, but it's not like this big graffiti jacket, which I think I initially went for. I'm gonna call these Medazzaland nails. I did them last night. I did a little bit of a cross on the finger there. So cool. Love the detail. You guys will have noticed that I kept the cover art up during my introduction. That was done on purpose because I just cannot get enough of this cover. You guys know how incredible it is, how colorful it is, how much it pops. So guys, I'm going to take a moment to really talk about the cover artwork. It is so important for this album only because this is what drew me into listening to this album. The cover. It's like a mixture of grunge with pop art and color. You've got that dark, moody element, but you still have all these beautiful colors and all these different collages of images. It's just fantastic. And like I said, it really drew me in to listen to this album. If you guys haven't seen my Q&A video, I highly recommend that you go check that out because the first ever Duran Duran song I discovered as a fan was the song and the single Out of My Mind. I'm pretty sure another single was Electric Barbarella. But yes, I am just so incredibly drawn in by the cover. I know who did the artwork for this cover because I'm pretty sure I tagged him a while ago in my jacket artwork. If you guys have also seen the jacket I was working on and you know what the reverse side of this album looks like, then you know that I was inspired by this. The jacket that I was working on for the Duran Duran concert was actually going to look like this. I was going to graffiti all over the Rio character. If anyone has seen the Rio cover, they pretty much know that this is a redo of Patrick Nagel's Rio. They've definitely thrown some splattered paint letters in there, and then they've done all the graffiti on it. So this is how I initially wanted my jacket to look, was just that grungy, defaced version of Rio. But then I thought to myself, okay, this looks way too good. I do not want to deface her. This is the vinyl. It does have a big booklet inside of it. It does have beautiful pink vinyl inside of it as well. It was just so amazing being a 15-year-old and looking at this cover and thinking, this has got to be a good album. So the artist who worked on the cover art and the booklet, his name is Andrew Day. You can find Andrew on Instagram. Andrew has actually shared some behind the scenes photos and some prints from when he did work on the Medazzaland album. So definitely check him out on Instagram if you're interested in his work. Also guys, I do want to thank you so much for your ongoing support whilst I've been away. So guys, I am going to jump into the video now because we do have 12 tracks to get into. I hope you're super excited to go on this journey with me. We're gonna jump into track number 1 now. It is called Medazzaland.
Oh, Medazzaland. Medazzaland.
I'm not sure what I'm hearing. Ooh. Playing around with a lot of effects here. That sounds like Nick's voice. I'm pretty sure that is Nick. I'm pretty sure they said somewhere that the only track Nick performed was on the Medazzaland album. So that sounds like his voice. And then all these different effects, like this really pitched sort of and then I hear like these really deep pitched vocals as well. But I'm very keen to hear the rest of this. Chopped up vocal pieces. So what was it? I have no words left in me. And when he says into Medazzaland, that sounded like a completely separate take. You're also hearing a filter on the vocal as well, which is very cool. It's very paranoid, isn't it? Like, he sounds paranoid. What are they saying about me? The way he said scalpel. Ooh. Interesting, what would you call it? Like, that has like this kind of Middle Eastern influence to it. This pad that sounds very Middle Eastern. I don't know. This is so interesting. It's got a cool beat to it as well. And you're getting that panning as well and that use of stereo space. So they're doing that again, which I love. Oh, cool. Well, they definitely did well in making this sound like some kind of drug trip. Oh wow, yes, that Middle Eastern sound is sort of coming through, like... I feel like I'm in some kind of desert. Don't know if you guys have ever heard that song, Tea in the Sahara. Yeah, that's where I feel like I am right now. It's going for a little extra time, but I'm not hearing anything. That was interesting. I do know a little bit of background about this album. So Medazzaland is another name for a drug that is used very commonly in dental surgery, especially to put patients under. I believe it's a form of anesthetic called midazolam. I'm pretty sure it was Simon or Nick had dental surgery and they went under the drug and they went through this really interesting experience. And that was a huge influence on the main theme of this album. They did really, really well in portraying this experience of someone who is going under, they're unable to move, they're unable to do anything, but they can still hear, they can still think, they still sense things around them. I am going to call this an introduction to the album. That's very much what it felt like. Going into Medazzaland, welcome to Medazzaland. I think they did really, really well using those effects to create that atmosphere and getting everyone prepared for the next track of the album, which is track number 2, Big Bang Theory. Did I just say Big Bang Theory? Universe was in a Let's try that again, which is track number 2, Big Bang Generation. What? It's very cool fade in. This is very me. Okay, this is once again very different from what we've heard before. That strange dissonance in the synth, that da 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 da. I don't know why, but I picture like this underground club set in the 90s and everyone's just dressed up in really eccentric colors and there's just color everywhere. So far, I'm pretty hooked. Ooh. Warren's guitar has like this, it's like this fluttering kind of effect on it. Once again, similar to Come Undone, but obviously a lot quicker now. I'm pretty sure that's quite prominent in a lot of electronic tracks around this time. I'm going to share with you guys an album that I absolutely love. It's by Gary Newman and it's called Exile, and it was released the same year as Medazzaland. Give that album a listen and you might hear some similarities in that electronic style and those fluttering guitars and synths. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. It's this dark kind of underworld feel, something out of a vampire film in the late 90s. I'm feeling it. Ooh, smooth vocals. Oh, nice. It might just be me, but I'm not sure if this album is ever so slightly quieter. I might just crunk it up ever so slightly just to see if I can hear it a bit better. That's better. I would love to know what that pad is and how he did that. Yeah, that guitar in the verses, it comes in the verses. Oh, I like that line. Stranger than fiction, surreal addiction. Simon has definitely not lost his spark when it comes to writing lyrics. I don't know if his voice is ever so slightly filtered. I'm hearing this very subtle harmony, but I think they've pulled back a little bit on the harmonies. That or they've just turned down the volume a lot on the harmonies and the doubles. Anyway. Now that I'm the alien. Ooh, is that Lamia? Sounds like her. That's filtered. A sound that's very reminiscent of a dial tone. Like when you pick up one of those old phones and you dial the numbers and you can hear it going doo 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 doo. Oh, and then some nice raw guitar. Bit of a shift up in that. Da, da, da. Da, 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 da. Okay, once again, there's just this very strange dissonance in this track, but somehow it works. It really, really works. It's just got this grungy electronica feel, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if I've heard anything like this before. I'd be happy to hear your guys' thoughts in the way of artists that it reminds you of, or if you think that this sound was influenced from anywhere specific. But yeah, let's keep going. Yes! I just want to dance now. Oh yeah, and Warren's sort of taking us home with the guitar a little bit there. Nice. Very nice. I don't really know what to say apart from the fact that it's just so different. And once again, I can't really pinpoint what I'm hearing in terms of genre style. It feels very much like a niche. And do you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if it was. I just feel like they've sculpted this electronic sound that is just so ahead of its time. I don't know how successful this album was since it was an independent release, but again, it feels very ahead of its time, almost like it would have gone down better later on down the track. Anyway guys, track number 3 is called Electric Barbarella, and this was a single. You're hearing all these mechanical effects and it just sounds so incredibly cool. And I'm thinking electric and electronic and robotic. I don't know the synths responsible for these sounds, but I would love to know. Yeah, I love that, like, do, 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 do. House meets industrial rock or something? Goodness me. What the heck? Okay, so you've got this fluttery guitar and then you've got like this gorgeous pad going da da da. It sounds so incredibly haunting, like there's just some kind of darkness to it, but at the same time, like it's very fun and inviting. Even the way Simon sings, Princess of My Dreams. I love this song too, such a great choice of a single. I wonder if they tried to push it out to the club scene, because it does have that dancey element to it, like that do, 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 do. Like definitely something you can dance to, right? I love that. Hallucinate and tranquilize, your perfect skin, describing the perfect woman. Again, it's just like this, ooh, dark but sultry track. I love it. And then Nick adds to it even more with those spooky sounds, like the spooky. Love it. Electric Barbarella. Yes. Warren just going for it in the middle here. In the middle. This is so cool. Okay. If they were trying to make this song sound very robotic and mechanical, they absolutely crushed it. That mix of different effects together with that beat, that do, 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 do. It sounds like this malfunctioning robot, or this robot just sort of moving to the music. I don't know. Yep. They nailed this. I think there's a lot of layered guitars as well. So Warren's kind of gone back and recorded more guitar over the top of guitar. Like you hear that filter guitar and then you've got these like like that. I like that. Princess of my dreams. Oh my gosh. How could you not bop to this in a club? Like this underground dark club. We're just fading out. Oh, Flanger! Flanger's back! Flanger on Simon's vocals. Yes. Oh, Flanger. That's all you guys are gonna take home from this. Oh, Flanger! Sorry, I don't know why I love saying that so much. And if anyone says flanger, I'm like, no, it's a flanger. Ned Flanger. Okay, so far, Electric Barbarella is my favorite. Very much a dancey beat, layered guitars, electronic elements, all these special effects that make it sound very mechanical, but at the same time, something you can dance to, something you can move to. Simon's voice is just very sultry and inviting, and I just loved it. And at the very end there, they add this effect that almost makes Simon sound a little robotic. Love it. I enjoyed that one so much. But I definitely hear that in some like underground club, in some kind of dark gothic-y vampire movie. I just don't know why I keep going back to vampires, but I do. I'm pretty sure these guys are all for it, so. Track number 4 is called Out of My Mind. It's another single. If you guys have seen the movie The Saint with Val Kilmer, I'm pretty sure from memory of watching it a couple of years ago, the song is in the end credits of that film, and I'm pretty sure you can find it on the movie soundtrack if The Saint has one, I'm not too sure. Anyway, Out of My Mind, track number 4.
Who are left behind and the ones who've gone before. But here it comes now. Sure as silence follows rain. The taste of you upon my.
Can I say though, the song is hellishly underrated? I'm looking at the plays here and I see very low numbers, and I'm going to talk about that halfway through.
The fingers in my brain, ever gentle. As it kills me where I lay. Oh, who am I to resist? Who are you to fail? Got to get you out of my mind.
Oh, yes. insane textures in this song. I'm hearing like this drone kind of sound. It's just sustained throughout. And then you hear like this gorgeous raw piano. I'm just so intrigued. I would love to hear the multi-tracks for this. Just give me multi-tracks to any of these songs. I must know. I must pick them apart. That would be so cool. We could do it on YouTube. Oh my goodness.
I'm so sorry for the way it had to go, but now I feel your presence in a...
I'm trying to put my finger on that instrument, that I just can't put my finger on what it is. It could be a lute or some kind of medieval instrument, but it's very tinny. Listening to the lyrics and the theme of the song, it's a very dark song. I think it deals with loss on a personal level and being in touch with spirits and the supernatural. Oh, it's just stunning.
Way I could not know, and I wonder, do you ever feel the
I'm just...
same?
Yeah, that sound there.
Do you ever hear my name? Got to get you out of my mind.
Layered guitar as well. Da, da. It sounds like they've used that same instrument to do the da 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 da, and then they've layered it with Warren's guitar. And then Nick comes in with this pad.
Come so real, when you're just a ghost in me.
So beautiful.
And I want to get you out of my mind, but I can't escape from the feeling as I try to leave the memory behind.
Guys, I'm so absolutely hooked into this album, and this song is just probably one of the best ones on the album. And I know we haven't finished this deep dive, but it's definitely evoking a lot of emotion in me, and I can definitely hear that in the song. Anyway.
Without you, what's there to believe in?
Yeah, like percussion. Ooh, and that harmony is so haunting. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. And I'm obsessed with that guitar, that da da. Magic. Absolute magic. How do they do this every time? Every album, there's just something there that just stands out. Something that just pulls you in. This is what I mean, guys. This is why Duran Duran are not going anywhere anytime soon, because they just have that insane ability to put something together that just pulls you in. And I've got to say, that song probably did not get the recognition it deserved. Again, I don't know how well it performed in the charts, but reading about Duran Duran, reading about some of their bigger tracks, and knowing that this is not one of those top contenders is it breaks my heart, because it's just so beautifully put together. I absolutely love it. It almost feels like an Ordinary World Part 2. How Simon wrote that song about the loss of a friend, and how Simon is coming to terms with living in a world without that friend by his side, having to exist in a world that is no longer special. It almost feels like this is a bit of a follow-up to that track, as if to say, I'm still not over you. I think about you all the time. I've got to get you out of my mind. I just can't escape thinking about you, and I'm still thinking about you after all this time. And I'm getting really teary just talking about that, so I think we need to move on now. But yes, just stunning. Just stunning. I feel the emotion in that. I really, really do. Track number 5 is called Who Do You Think You Are? Oh goodness me, it just sounds so quiet, doesn't it?
You're
Hold on, guys.
nations through. You gave the best you got, now I'm out on top. If you're in any doubt, listen to me, I got a right to say.
Almost feels like more of a somber, down-tempo song. Not a lot of effects in this. They've obviously just stripped it back and kept it quite minimal.
If you know what it's all about, who do you think you are?
That note sounded like a bit of a stretch for Simon.
Don't wanna be your enemy, and I've gotta do things the way that I do.
This feels like Duran Duran's Blink-182 angsty moment. Yes. I can hear a lot of Warren in this.
Always trying to control. Who do you think you are?
It sounds like, again, we're snapping back at a label, or we're snapping back at a producer or somebody. I don't know, I feel like it's very targeted because there's a lot of emotion in Simon's voice.
Our time on earth is running through. It's not a question of mine. Sometimes I think it's a
Yeah.
game to you. You've gotta live with yourself the rest of your life.
Ooh, you've got to live with yourself for the rest of your life. This is definitely targeted at somebody. I need to know who. Ooh, ouch. Right in the...
Everybody asks themselves the question, who do you think you are? When you can't explain the things I say to other people,
This definitely stands very well in the 90s.
it's just occurred to me. A possibility.
You can hear this really nice pad underneath.
The thought that you might really want to be me.
This is savage. I need the tea. I need to know who we're talking about here. This is not who do you think you are? Who is this person? That's the big question. I have a lot of thoughts. It was very 90s rock, very 90s grunge, angst. I felt that in that track. The other handful of tracks have felt very ahead of their time, whereas this one sort of sits very well in the timeline. And I know Blink-182 came a little bit later on, but it was just like that teenage angst, screw you, whoever you are. So far, it's been Electric Barbarella and Out of My Mind. I did enjoy that track. I liked the emotion in it, but it definitely wasn't a favorite. Anyway, guys, we're on to track number 6. It's called Silva Halo. Here we go. Oh, we're playing with our pitch again. I feel like we're getting darker and darker as the album goes on. This is next level darkness, that amp and that distortion. Give me more!
You shine where others fade.
Haunting.
You dare to be so
Oh, I love the layering on the vocals there.
Don't compromise, no one can touch you. Just believe,
He's doing like these really haunting harmonies.
just believe.
Or he's singing these harmonies that are just...
Come to heaven, Silva.
4 in this side, on the right hand side, I'm hearing that harmony and it's just...
Silva Halo.
What?
Silva Halo.
I just love that rhythmic effect on the guitar. We've heard it a few times now on the album, and then you've got like this really deep percussion that just sits at the very bottom, like boom, boom. And then you've just got these harmonies by Simon that are just haunting. I'm getting that in this album. I'm getting a lot of spirits and supernatural, and this is just so incredibly captivating. All the different sounds and the different elements, and they just take you to a certain place. Oh. All these different sounds again, I'm just... I'm just hearing all these different sounds and envelopes and effects on the synth there. That one was just so incredibly dark, but I'm living for it. Guys, we're on to track number 7. It's called Be My Icon. Wow, okay, we've just stepped into a completely different realm now. I am actually living for that sound as well. It's so good.
Now is the time to come out of the shadows. No need to be
Like, there's no high frequencies coming through. It's quite well filtered, so it sits as a bass very well.
scared. You're gonna
Oh, wait. Is that a guitar, though? Perhaps that's a guitar. It's not an actual synthesizer.
I'm out on the edge. There's no way back inside. All my friends are gone. They didn't understand me.
Nice. And again, very sultry lyrics.
It makes so
Or sultry delivery.
It's no coincidence. 'Cause you and I alone here.
It is guitar.
And I need you.
Or they're taking it in turns. So Nick's used like this pad, this bassy pad, and then Warren's come in and sort of layered it, or he's making the same sound on the guitar and they filtered it like crazy. I don't know. That's my theory. But Simon, ooh, the song, it sounds like it's about obsession.
How many hours have I stayed at my face?
And going through all your trash, definitely obsession.
I get worried sometimes that the image will shatter. No need to be scared. I built you a shrine.
I built you a shrine.
Be my icon. You a shrine. Now you can be my icon.
Be my icon. It might be about like a pop star or someone, you know?
I know this is real, believe it, we belong together. Whatever happens.
So many layered guitar sounds and just, yeah, it does feel a little bit dissonant, but at the same time it just sits so well. That screeching guitar, and then you've just got filtered vocals, and gosh, the electronic elements are just on fire in this. Like, how many times can you layer a guitar? I'm going to say something very quickly. So something I didn't mention in the introduction is that I actually watched the 3-part documentary series called The Road to Medazzaland. I actually watched all 3 parts of that documentary. I can't remember who it was that said this, but they said that Duran Duran are just so good when it comes to production. They always work with great producers. Every album is very well produced, and that's what I was saying, like, how many times can you layer a guitar or layer something without it clashing and sounding really muddy and really icky? They've done really, really well here in leveling out all the elements so that it doesn't sound like it's too much or it's too in your face or it's too muddy. It's just done really, really well. There's a few dance tracks on this. I like it. I quite liked that one, yeah. And I liked the underlying message too, and then some of the lyrics were a little bit creepy, like, I'm going through all your trash, I'll build you a shrine. You know, I keep your cigarette butts, goodness me. Very guitar heavy, very distorted, but at the same time, it's just a very awesome sound. And I still can't figure out whether or not that was 2 instruments playing the part of bass, obviously keyboards and guitar. I did say halfway through the album that we talk about numbers, so the most played track on this album is Electric Barbarella, coming in at about 696,000 plays. The lowest is probably Undergoing Treatment with about 23,000. Out of My Mind's had about 300k, which is quite good, but like I said, very underrated for the number of plays. You know, very underrated if you compare it to the likes of Hungry Like the Wolf and Ordinary World, which Ordinary World had 200 million plays. I'm really enjoying this, and I'd love to jump into track number 8, which is Buried in the Sand. Oh, and we're already in with that very ethnic percussion. That's what I was trying to say. Oh my goodness.
Can't say that I was surprised when you broke the ties. They were hanging by a thread, but now...
Wow, okay. So different. A lot of thoughts in my head. It has this very Moroccan, Middle Eastern kind of sound. And then Simon's delivery once again. Woo!
I realized it couldn't be the same, 'cause everything has changed.
Like that last note that he kind of holds.
And still I held out my hand, tried to pull you back, but you were buried in the sand.
Yeah, I'm hearing like a string instrument. Wow, okay, yeah, definitely we're bringing in those ethnic sounds. Kind of gives me that Madonna Ray of Light kind of feeling, which I think at the time Madonna would have been working on Ray of Light with William Orbit, and it just has those similar kind of sounds. I need to read up on my ethnic instruments. Maybe it's in the credits of the album, the instruments, but yeah, I'm trying to find something that closely resembles an ethnic violin, because that's what that sounds like. sensory overload with some of these sounds. That's a pad. That's a synth sound. Sounds like something you'd hear in a video game that sort of replaces an official instrument, you know what I mean? Like that MIDI sound that you hear in video games. Like early video games. I am just flabbergasted. They definitely captured that element of being in a different place, once again, like being in the middle of a desert. I really do love that use of ethnic instruments. It's very cool. It was a nice touch. It was a bit of a change up from, you know, that distorted guitar that you were hearing frequently throughout the other tracks. Definitely not a favorite of mine, but very, very cool and broke up the album quite well. But I take back what I said about it gradually getting darker and darker. I feel like we've gone from being quite dark to perking up a little bit. But I'm interested to see if we delve into the darkness once again. So we're coming up to track number 9 now. It's called Michael, You've Got a Lot to Answer For. And I'm pretty sure that this song is actually about Michael Hutchence from INXS. He did pass away in 1997, and as far as I know, Duran Duran were very close with him, especially during the mid to late 90s, I think. Anyway, let's jump into it. Nice acoustic there.
I came over your place today in a roundabout sort of way, gentle killing the afternoon. Don't ever try to be some of the doors to my soul.
Yeah, it's definitely about him. It's definitely about loss. And I'm gonna say that this is probably more reminiscent of Ordinary World, that lovely acoustic guitar, but obviously those heartfelt, somber lyrics. Very, very nice. I like what I'm hearing so far.
Don't see you for a while, thinking of you will make me smile. You never bother me with responsibility, misbehaving in candlelight.
I like that.
Don't ever try to give
Again, I think that guitar's come back, that steel kind of guitar, because I can still hear it. It's coming through, very, very subtle, and it's just beautiful. Just adds a little brightness to the song.
You got a lot to answer for. You got me waking up wide to the world.
Love that.
Trust you to get caught up in somebody's war. You come out of it all intact, I'm sure. And I know that you're gonna call if you need me.
feel like Simon's sort of fading into the background a little bit there. Oh, nice. To me, that outro almost echoed the second half of the Big Thing album. I don't know what it was about. It was probably just that guitar. But wow, very beautiful. Yeah, definitely a tribute song to a fallen friend. I really feel for Duran Duran. I go through the discography, and of course I read about the artists that they've worked with that are no longer with us, and I just really feel for them and just the amount of loss I think they've had to go through in their career. I mean, I know that's all a part of life, but I just really feel for Simon and of course other members of the band who have all lost very close friends throughout their career. They definitely put a lot of love and emotion into that song, and I just think it's very beautiful. Very much like that Who Do You Think You Are and Out of My Mind kind of motif that they've got going on in this album. In terms of theme, I feel like those three songs fit together quite well. Anyway guys, we're going to jump onto track number 10. It's called Midnight Sun. Beautiful cello.
As I watch you flickering slowly in the shadows, nothing to hold. It's as if I
How do they do this every time? There's this low end that just sort of came in. It's like this, again, I don't know if it's a pad sound or if it's an effect on a guitar, but it's like, it sounds like this very dissonant bass. It's just, oof. Yeah, like and they brought back that piano again too, like just that regular piano. Regular piano. I feel like they're dealing with a lot of loss in this album. Or they're just going through emotions, you know? I like the lyrics. And this song is a really good example of elements that sit very well together. Everything just sits very beautifully in terms of mixing. And that filtered vocal, definitely very nice. And Warren comes in. Wasn't expecting that note change there, but it's in.
never find you, 'cause you shine like the midnight sun.
Why does that sound kind of remind me of like a heart monitor or something, like an ECG monitor or something? Not ECG, but the machine that you get hooked up to in the hospital. Almost like they're trying to keep that motif going as well, you know, being monitored in the hospital, and I'm starting to wake up now from that trance. Okay, maybe I'm going a little bit deep there, but that's just what springs to mind for me. They've kept that going through the album, that dark, moody element with all these electronic effects and distortions and oh. Okay guys, we're moving on to track 11 now. It's called So Long Suicide. Like an amplifier noise. Is that coming through the left ear only? Yeah. So that's a hard panning that. So what they've done is they've got the guitar on the left and Simon's vocal on the right, and there's some filter on Simon's vocal, like a similar filter to what they used in Medazzaland. The song. So if I take this ear away, I'm just hearing the guitar. And then I'm just hearing Simon in the right. Love it. Very cool. Imagine if you only had one headphone in. Ooh. Is that like this beautiful pad just slowly coming in with Simon's vocal? Like Simon's doubled vocals? Alright, guys. And then we just drop into that hard rock, like, dude, yeah. There's something about that backing and the vocals too that feels very dissonant once again. Yeah, this song is definitely very moody and dark as well. I actually prefer this one though to Midnight Sun, I'll be honest.
And I must be hollow, 'cause I can't follow that. So long, suicide, going right out of sight, out of mind, leave me alone and abandoned.
Breaking down the walls. Oh, yes. Did anyone hear that like Tel Aviv kind of sound going throughout that then? Like that, choo. Yeah. Oh yeah. You take all these elements away and just have Simon's voice with that guitar. And that really nice. Oh my gosh, these synths, these sounds. I feel like Simon's voice is lullaby, like lulling me to sleep. No, it was quite interesting there in that outro with the amplifier sound. It almost sounded like it was reversed. The intro, you had that same sound, but then it sounded slightly different in the outro. That was a nice touch. Okay, I think that's one of my favorites so far. There was some kind of dissonance in the vocals there. It almost didn't fit in the song, but it did at the same time. And then you had all these elements at the end that were taken away, and Simon's just going da-da, da-da. And still very haunting as well, very dark and moody with those lyrics, "Leave me alone, I'm abandoned," or something. I'm not sure where those ideas were pulled from, but very dark. Quite a bit of angst in there as well. Yeah, definitely a top contender, that song. The last track on the album, guys, is track number 12. It's called Undergoing Treatment. Oh. We're back with a bit of an acoustic. Bright red screen. Bright pink screen.
If you see me walking in the garden, don't ever ask me for an autograph. If you ever catch me in the arcade.
Oh, okay, here we go. Now this makes sense. Watching others in the news, studying our worst reviews, they say we'll get over it, disappear like dinosaurs, because they were considered an 80s band and everyone's calling them dinosaurs. People are harsh, honestly. Disappear like dinosaurs to the sound of small applause, resigned to the mid-price section. Very self-deprecating. I'm sure that was what they were going through at the time. The critics just laying into them and just being so nasty and cruel. Again, Thank You being the worst album of all time. I mean, come on. I just think that was a little too harsh, if you ask me. If my face looks really pink right now, it's just because I'm reading the lyrics on Spotify.
Don't even stop me for a photograph.
I like that, but why do we still face the music mediocre to the bone? They crave our conformity. Screw conformity. You guys have your own sound, your own aesthetic, your own style, and I think that's why you guys have stood the test of time.
If you see me walking in the garden, don't ever ask me for it. Now and then, you get the strangest notion there's something missing, but it keeps you guessing.
What does that sound like? It almost sounds like a sample on loop. Wow, there's so much dissonance in this as well.
Wild ambition, can you really blame us?
It's not really dissonant, but it just adds a strange sort of atmosphere to the song.
Can you entertain us? Can you give a little more? If you see me walking in the garden, don't ever ask me for an autograph. If you ever catch me.
Okay, this is one that you want the multi-tracks for, because you can hear all these weird sounds in the background, all this talking and just little embellishments. And then on this left-hand side, it's like I heard this pitched, like, it sounded like a demonic voice. It was so strange.
In the arcade, don't even stop me for a
Ooh,
photograph.
nice. It's like an 808 there. I can hear a voice. Like that. Dun, 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 dun. Sounds like a Japanese koto or something.
treatment. But will the doctors ever cure these delusions of grandeur?
Oh, okay. Screw you guys shutting the door on you all. I've got to say that was a very interesting track. There was so many elements that just had me thrown back a bit, but it was actually a really cool song, and I liked the guitar sounded a little bit like it was out of tune, but it's all done deliberately. All of the dissonance in this album is done deliberately, and I love it. Oh, it's just so unique. Like I said, I just feel like it sits in its own niche, but I just don't think I've ever come across anything that sounds like this, remotely sounds like this. Even when I was talking about Gary Newman's album Exile, it has its own persona. It doesn't sound exactly like this. It's completely different mixing, different production style, but it has that same dark, gothic kind of element to it, which I think sort of runs throughout this album. You've got some really nice, upbeat, dancey kind of songs. You've obviously got your sad, somber songs. They definitely keep that going like they have with quite a lot of their albums. Whether they were going through certain motions at the time or something, it's definitely translated in this album. There's a lot of emotionally charged songs on this album, like Who Do You Think You Are, Michael, You've Got a Lot to Answer For, Undergoing Treatment, Buried in the Sand also sounded quite emotional as well. But I honestly think this album is just so awesome and so incredibly underrated. Personally, I love this album. It's sentimental to me. When I was going through some difficult times, I found this album found me, and I've just connected to it ever since. No wonder I bought it on vinyl, and I'm so happy that I bought the 25th anniversary edition on vinyl as well. Obviously, there's a few tracks on there that don't stick out to me as much as others, but I just think they did a great job in picking out the right songs to become singles. But yeah, it's hard to know what the third single would have been had there been a third single for the album. I'd love for you guys to share your thoughts there on what track you think would have made a great third single. I'll be honest, when I was watching the Road to Medazzaland documentary, I was actually hoping that they'd go into the Medazzaland album a little bit more in depth, and they'd actually talk about the creative process behind it, but they never actually covered Medazzaland, so I'm actually hoping that Barbarella Pictures releases a separate documentary about Medazzaland. I'm not sure if they will, but shout outs to you guys. I really hope that you do, because I'd be really keen to hear a lot more about this album. I feel like some of the things I read were quite limited. I also want to give a massive shout out to a user called Duranisty. I'm pretty sure they have commented on my videos in the past. If you're on my videos and you see my videos, I just want to give you a massive shout out. I actually had a look at your website a few weeks ago. I saw the page that you built for Out of My Mind, and I was just so blown away by all the incredible graphics and images that were on that page. I just feel like I really got to see a lot of the behind the scenes of the music video and behind the scenes of the actual album and the song itself. But yeah, definitely keep up what you're doing on that blog, Duranisty. You've done an absolutely amazing job on that website. But guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. I've given myself about 2 hours worth of footage to edit. It's going to be another long one, so please bear with me. I will definitely try to release a video or two in the meantime whilst I'm editing this one. It is going to take longer than normal just with the length of the video. But do I recommend this album? Absolutely. I really think it highlights a huge turning point in Duran Duran's career, the change in sound, the change in influences. Obviously, the departure of John Taylor as well is quite a big change. So it is a big time in their career. I feel like a lot of the songs on this album have very much been shelved and forgotten about. I'm not actually sure that they play any of these songs live or pay homage to them, which is very sad, but obviously the band want to celebrate some of their bigger highlights in their career and some of their stronger songs. But in my opinion, there are so many strong songs on this album, and I just can't get enough of it. I'm once again very, very lucky and very, very happy to have this in my vinyl collection. And I highly recommend that if you do enjoy this album, definitely pick up a copy of the 25th anniversary edition. You won't be disappointed. There's so many cool things in the booklet. The aesthetic is just amazing. And once again, a massive shout out to Andrew Day for this cover. Thank you so, so much for all the work that you've done on this cover. It has definitely left a lasting impact on fans around the world. And I just think it's very, very unique. And it's definitely one of those albums that just sort of pops out to you in the Duran Duran discography. Not just for the songs, but for the cover art, and yes, kudos to you on such a fantastic cover. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this installment of my Duran Duran series. If you enjoyed this video, please go check out some of my other videos if you haven't already. Please be sure to like and subscribe to stay tuned with any of my future videos on the channel. Also, if you'd like to check out my Patreon, the link is in the description box below. Becoming a part of my monthly membership on Patreon, you will get access to exclusive perks, but you're also supporting the channel, keeping me doing what I love, creating these awesome videos for you guys to enjoy. I hope you guys get to go away and listen to this album in your own time and just immerse yourself. It is once again a fantastic album. I wish you guys all the very best. Thank you so much once again for watching, and I hope to see you guys again in the next video. Bye guys!